Ooh, girl, who is that? Girl, that's Rae and Brie.
You and me, always be time. Emily, sing a bit. Hey YouTube.
Tell her take it off her head, bro.
I just
Her new is like take it off. She look dumb. We in the crib. Bro, she's the biggest scam award for 2018.
Oh shit. I look dusty.
Bitch, me too.
I look like I ain't got no home training.
Girl, who cares?
Me. Okay. Cause it's Bree.
And it's Rae.
And we here with y'all with a story time.
I know y'all miss us. It's been a minute.
It all started when Raven just decided to clean her room. And I walked in there and I was like, what you doing? Cleaning and drinking wine.
That is so sorry. I really forgot all of that.
So, I'm like, I want some wine too. So we start drinking wine together, just chilling.
And then I don't remember how the subject came about, but
We was talking. I think we was talking about homies. When we were talking about
was.
homies,
We was
we
talking
went
about-
there for homies. We went to. Oh, we didn't tell them where we went to. What was the name of the place?
fantasy.
We went to Fantasy
It's a sex store in Lansing
for
where
homies.
where we live at.
We went for homies.
We went for a harness to our homie.
Yeah, a new one.
A new harness. Mine was broke, and hers she didn't like it.
Yep.
So we at this point tipsy as hell off that wine we was drinking. So we was like, all right, we about to go look at harnesses or whatever. It's late, like, and the sex stores out here open real late. So we go to this sex store called Fantasy.
I like a white girl.
Bitch, no. Ugh, can you fucking not?
People. Bitch, cause what the fuck is this? What does this do? It made it worse.
Sorry.
Okay, we went to the sex store and what?
And we was trying on his harness. But I was trying on his harness. And like at first when we first go into the store, like all the harnesses are on the back wall. So it's like walking into the door and going to the back. We got one, but we couldn't try it on by the back wall. We had to do it where the counter was at, maybe for security reasons and shit. So we go up there. I'm trying on his harness. While I'm trying it on, somebody walk out the side this door. Like it's like us facing the counter. The door to the outside is that way, and then there's like a door. It could be a storage closet for all the fuck we know.
Actually, okay, I thought it was for people who go in the rooms and watch porn and they do their thing. Like, cause they had that in the back though, where we was at, like when we was all the way in the back. They had that part. It was like you go back there and you watch movies and you just like do your thing. Like you can pay to do that. But that's not what it was.
Not what it was. So I'm looking to the left. I thought it was like one of them staff only type of things. Cause the first person who came out of there, he was younger, and he went straight to the counter and had a full blown conversation with us. So I'm like, okay, he worked here, and we talking about harnesses. He relating. Who knows? You know, whatever. So then I'm sitting there taking it off, like, all right, cool. And somebody else, another nigga walked. This other dude, older dude, not young or none of that. He walked out of there, and I'm looking like, okay, like. What it kind of caught my attention, but by this time I'm not really paying that close attention to what's going on. I just see these people, so I then gave it back to him. Then me, Bree, and the two dudes who worked there were talking. So we was just talking or whatever, and then this black woman. We live in white peopleville, like there's a lot of white people where we were at, and it's like, okay, there's not that many black people, so I'm looking like this black woman. Two dudes just came out of there. A black woman came out, and she walked straight to the door. Like, she's standing at the door. So I'm like, hey, what's that? Like,
Hey.
what is that? And the other dude that came out just started explaining to us kind of what it was. Like, there was like, the dude who worked there was like, you ladies get in free on Fridays. It was a Friday. And so I'm like, bro, let's go.
Let's go.
What
Let's
is
do
it?
it.
Like,
Let's
let's
go
go
see
back
about
there.
it. So we walked in. At first we was like, oh, it's just like a little strip club. Like it looked like a strip club in the front at first. It had like some chairs on the wall or whatever. It had a stage right here, but then like where the chairs was, and right in front of it, it had TVs on the wall. TVs was playing porn. I'm like, oh, this is what I thought it was. Okay, niggas just sit out here, you know, play with they Johnson. You feel me? Like that's what they do. Then they had like the little stage for the stripper pole. You know, I'm like, okay, people can strip right there. It's nothing. Just be who you are. We continued on this tour of this I don't know what to call it, but it got a little more explicit than we was ready for.
We it's like where the stage was, you could go like on the right, it's like a hallway, and then go back to something deeper, and then on the left it go back to something deeper. The dude who took us in there was like we sat on the stage for a minute, because at this point I'm amazed. I didn't know what the hell I was walking into. So we were sitting on the stage, and there's these chairs, and there's dudes actually watching this porn on the wall. Got they dick out in their hand,
just out. And they looking at us though. They watching the porn, but then they saw us come in, so they looking like,
yep, just going to town.
Like, what's good?
They going to town on that. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, he like, there's bars in the back, and I'm like, bars like real life could drink, and then he was like, no. He was like, it's a fantasy. So I'm like, I want to see.
So it was bars. What else was it? What was that other part that he said? It was like a doctor's office.
Yeah, they had like little rooms you could rent out like $15 an hour or something like that, and you and whoever you want go in that room and like role play. Like they had like a gynecology one, and then they had like one like 50 Shades of Grey, that sex room type thing where it's like whips and chains and shit in there.
No, and then first when we walked back to the back area, it was like this like one little cubicle area, right? And it had like a bed swing.
So did
and the crazy thing is we stopped at that part for 2 seconds, and the dude was telling us about it, and he had said a woman had just was in here and got ran by like it was a line of dudes just
in and out of that,
just doing it.
And I'm just sitting, by this time I'm amazed, because I'm just like, wow. And when we started walking back towards the little thing, it was a dude who walked that way butt naked. He had nothing on, butt naked, seeing his booty cheeks, and he just was walking.
Bro, old man, just, and he was proud to be out, but he shouldn't have been proud, because it wasn't nothing there. He wasn't packing nothing.
So after we had walked past all the little rooms that are on our left side, we just kept going, and it's like a big old, like in the middle of it is like these little curtains, like they're cubicle curtains. Like
it was literally built like, okay, like some wooden things, like built like a cross type thing, like like this.
Like, so like it was like
cut like, so it's like this. So you had four rooms basically, 4 little rooms.
Right. And they had like curtains and shit. So I'm like, what is?
We're like, what is this doing?
What is this?
Let's look.
It was like a glory hole thing. So like you could go on one side and then the other person go on the other side, and you put your dick through the hole, do your thing through the hole.
And at first, nobody was in there.
Nobody was in there.
So we start like after a second or whatever. We stayed there for a little minute. We go back to the glory house, and we saw like actual people doing it. Like first, I ended up seeing. I was on the side where the person put his homie through it. He put his little Johnson through the hole,
bro.
So I saw booty cheeks and his Johnson, and I'm looking like. And these people do not mind you watching, like at all. It wasn't like a matter of like, you know, like, oh my God, close the curtain. No, he was like,
yeah, like he like,
I'm
proud
like,
to let you watch. So I'm like, is somebody on the other side of this?
Right.
So we walk on the other side, and this dude, he had just walked in there. So I walked. That's what made me initially walk to the other side, and he just on his knees going
doing his
town.
thing.
He on his knees just going crazy, and like he just letting us
and
watch.
And them niggas don't know each other.
Didn't know each other from nothing. They just
met each other that night. Didn't even meet. Just said.
And it was so many dudes in there, so like
it was all dudes. So they was hounding us,
like, and they
was hovering.
So it was like they made a big ass circle around us. And this one dude was like like, you know, what y'all about to do. Like, they looking at me and Brie like we about to go, you know, go crazy on each other, and they all about to watch. So I'm just like, nothing. This is my best friend. And he was like, you and your best friend don't want to put on a show for us? Excuse the fuck out of me.
We okay.
Yeah, what? I'm like, oh no, I don't think it's time to go, bro. Like, that junk was so, that was some TV type stuff, bro. I've never seen anything like that before in my life, bro.
That really was some TV stuff. Like, I think I've seen like something like that.
I never knew stuff like that really existed.
I didn't know either. No, I really like since all them dudes was like surrounding us, I really thought we was gonna like get grabbed up or something.
Yeah, like,
cause it was so many of them. Like,
they were older, like they had to all be over 45 years old, all of them. Like, when we was walking out, this one, he was kind of fat, and he was in this little area. It only had 2 seats in it. He was jacking off with his 2 fingers. I ain't bullshit y'all not. Like, he was sitting there. Yes. And he just looking at the screen just. I heard did you tell me that shit got shut down? Somebody told me they shut that down.
Somebody told us that. The whole sex store though?
I don't know. I haven't went since we went.
I haven't been either.
Yeah, y'all. That junk was so crazy. That was like the wildest thing of my 2017 year.
All right. It's been Rae. And it's been Brie. No, bro. When I was doing the intro for me and Ashley's video, I wanted to say Rae so bad, as if I was Rae. I don't know why,
She misses.
Because I was talking first in the video, and I'm so used to talking second, so I was ready to say it's Rae instead of it's Brie.
She misses me.
Don't forget to do what?
Comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend and tell their friends and tell all their friends.
All of them niggas.
You and me always be tight. Family every single day.